For our next project, we are going to be using the Sun Prints, not the paper, but the Sun Prints paper goes with this bundle. And this is part of my online class for the month. So we're using the Nature's Prints stamp set, the Natural Prints dies that go with this. So this is sold as a bundle. We've got the Sun Prints paper. We've got the Fern 3D embossing folder. And then we are also including the iridescent pearls with this class, as well as the gray granite ribbon, because it's gorgeous. And this ribbon ties really nicely. And look how that just coordinates with this so well. Okay, so I'm going to put my paper thing aside. And then here are all my pieces and parts, because I am also going to use this mini pocket envelope on this card. So I have my mini pockets already cut out. So we will go ahead and fold that up in just a second. Then I have a layer of Starry Sky. I have a layer of white for the inside. And then my outside layer is already embossed with that Fern folder. So we need to fold this. So this is the mini pocket. It's just one die. You can cut it out of a quarter sheet of cardstock, which is really nice. And then there is a little score line that's right down between this area here. And we will fold that. Oh, you're so sweet. Sheriff says you are, I think it's Sheriff. Tell me if I'm wrong. Inspiring and so funny. She loves watching me. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. All right. So, and then I'm just going to kind of get that to start folding as well. And then we can actually finish that fold. There we go. Use the bone folder. And then we have this little bottom flap that we need to fold also. There we go. Oh, I think my son might be maybe taking a shower. I don't know. If you guys missed the gross picture I showed at the beginning of the video, go back. But only if you're not grossed out too bad by things, because it's kind of icky. Okay, so this is how this little pocket works. You just fold the two little side flaps down. We're going to put adhesive on both of those, and then we will just press it down. So it's got this fun little scallop edge here, and then this fun little scallop at the top. So that is just a super cute little pocket. And then I have cut a piece of cardstock here. This is 2 inches by 3.5, and it'll be just a nice little thing that we can tuck in there. I also have, this is another one of the dies out of the mini pocket envelope set. It's a little like tab kind of thing. And we're going to add that to the top of this white piece that we're going to pull out of our little pockets. I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue there. And I'm going to start to kind of fold that together. And then I'm going to try to center it on here as best that I can. I don't think that's centered at all, honestly. But just so it's a little thing to grab onto. Okay. So now that I have my little card made, excuse me, now I feel comfortable adding my adhesive to my pocket. And then we can close it up because I'm going to put my little thing in there, so that it's taking up the amount of space that it would need to before we close that. Okay. And then we'll just get that closed up. Where's my bone folder? And then we can just press down where the glue is. And I didn't put a whole bunch of glue on there because I don't want anything to stick on the inside. You know, I don't want these two little side panels that we glued to squish glue out and make it a mess so that we can't get our little card in and out. So I think we did a pretty good job there. I do want to stamp a little something on the front here. So I am going to take this kind of, it looks to me like a wheat type image, for lack of a better word, wheat. And I've got some Sahara Sand ink. And my Sahara Sand is, no, this isn't. This is gray granite. Sorry. Yeah, gray granite. I mean, mine's a little bit juicy. So I'm going to take the back of this knife, the dull side, and kind of press some of that ink into the pad so that when I ink up my stamp, it's not super crazy. Okay. Also, I don't want the end of this stamp to go all the way to the end of my pocket. So I'm going to cover that up with my scrap paper here. And I'm just going to stamp my wheat in the middle, and I'm not going to re-ink it. And I'm just going to stamp it 3 different times around. So we have that kind of look right there. All right, so obviously our pocket's going to go on the front here. But before we do that, this is another little die cut that's in that die set, the Nature or Natural Prints. It is a label, and this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. And so we are going to stamp our sentiment on that. And the one that I chose says, yeah, you're on my mind. All of a sudden I couldn't remember what that said, and I was having trouble reading upside down and backwards. So let me clean off the back of my knife, because I am going to also do that with this pad. Since it's brand new, it's a little bit juicy also. So I'm just going to press some of that ink into the pad so that it's not so juicy on the top. And we will get that inked up. And then I'm going to try to center that on here. So wish me luck. That worked out pretty good. Okay, I think that's it for ink, because I already have done some die cutting of some things. Where is my little, here it is. Okay, so I did some die cutting of some pieces. You do get 3 of these little dies in the set. So I did 1 Starry Sky, 2 gray granites, and then I did 1 like this. Okay, then we also have this little flower image that we're going to be stamping on some white. I need to find a scrap here somewhere in this file drawer. So I've got a little scrap of white, and I'm going to use my gray granite again to ink this up. And we're just going to stamp that right there. And now here's a fun little tip for you guys. Last week when I made, where is that card? I think I over here. When I made this card for you guys, I colored in the flower, the leaves with our watercolor pencils. Okay, and then I used our color lifter to kind of move that color around a little bit, which is a pretty cool technique. Usually you would use a blender pen maybe, but the color lifter I feel like just spreads it around a lot better. So anyway, I decided to go ahead and try that again with this flower. Well, look what I discovered. In our watercolor pencils assortment number 2, you get the color Night of Navy in here. Okay, but guess what? Look at what color this is. It is so Starry Sky. Check that out. I mean, I think it would work next to Night of Navy also, but wow, that is Starry Sky. So I was very excited to discover that. And so I'm going to color this flower with some Starry Sky watercolor pencil. And I'm just kind of, I've got a flat tip, and I'm just kind of swirling it around like in circles to get some of that ink. So I don't have any harsh lines really. It's just a nice little swirl. And I'm going to get this little guy down here too. And then I'm going to come back and use kind of the point, and I'm going to add some dark, a little bit more dark color to the center, so that when I use my color lifter, hopefully we'll have like a 2-toned flower. We'll see what happens. But I thought this technique was kind of cool when I was sharing it with you guys last week about how the color lifter can serve as a blender pen, and it works really well. Okay, so now we're going to open up this color lifter, and we are just going to kind of gently spread around this color. Well, not quite as dark or as light at the edges as I would have liked, but maybe we can keep coloring. If I get some of that color off, we can add a little bit of lightness to the edge by going over it a little bit. Okay, and we'll do that little guy. And then we can come back and we can add some color if we so desire. Maybe, and I probably shouldn't have done the middle. I probably should have left it. But it is what it is. Okay, so that is done. So then we would take that, obviously there's a die in the set right here, this little, oh, come on. I think it's right here, this little die. Anyway, it'll cut that out, and I already have one done. So here's the one that I did earlier. I actually think I like the coloring on the one I just did now better, but what do you do? And so what we're going to do is we're going to add, so I'm going to have my label go across my little pocket like this, and then these pieces are just going to kind of be tucked in behind. So I kind of feel like, how do I want to do this? I feel like if I stick some seal back of this, that I can then stick everything to it. We'll see how that works. Okay. So we're going to kind of eyeball that we would have it about right there. So we'll have the flower, and then this little kind of foliage strand, I think, is going to go off to the back there. And we'll add some of this little gray granite piece. And this, and what did Teresa just said? It looks like you could punch a hole in the center of the tab and put a ribbon through it. You know, I absolutely could. I absolutely could do that. Okay, so I think maybe that will go there. And then we have this last gray granite little piece that I think will go like that. Okay, so now I can use some dimensionals. Where are the dimensionals? Right here in front of my face, where they always are. So we will add some dimensionals. Okay, and maybe one down here in the bottom of that. And we'll peel the backings off. Whoops, you want to stick on there, don't you? And I'm going to line this up on the front here. About like so. And then I'm going to glue this to my fern folder. Oops, but hold on. I put glue on this pocket, and then I remembered I wanted to add ribbon, so we're just going to set that pocket ahead of us for a little bit. And then I'm going to bring back my pixie spray because I want to wrap, I want to tie a little knot with my beautiful gray granite ribbon here. This is a carryover item, but I don't think a lot of people have it because gray granite's just not one of those colors that you use all the time. But since they brought this new collection out, and gray granite is one of the colors in the paper, it's the perfect time to get it. And it's a gorgeous ribbon. And it ties really nicely and all that good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to snip that off. And I'm going to kind of figure out where I want this to be. So I'm going to have to kind of put my pocket on upside down just for the moment. And I think I want my knot to be about right there. So I'm going to hold that in place where I want it. And then I'm going to pull it off to the side, my little loop, and I'm going to snip it off. Then I can wrap that to the back and Scotch tape it into place. And then I can pull this other side over and Scotch tape that into place. And now I can go ahead and add this layer to the front of the card. So when I do embossing, I like to use liquid glue to adhere my layers because I just feel like it works a lot better than other adhesives when you have something that's been embossed. Okay. And now my little pocket is going to go on right here, kind of at an angle. And you notice I didn't put it in the center. I did that on purpose because it's easier to not center it than it is to center it. I know my limitations. So I offset it just slightly on purpose. And then I will just snip off the excess ribbon. And then we have a little pull out pocket, little slider in there. And then we have that. And there we go, you guys. There it is. So be sure to check out my Nature's Prints online class. The description has a link to the registration form if you're interested.